And here we go, 3 wide again. Austin Dillon pulling down to the inside, trying to make a move. 2 for 1. He gets Bubba Wallace and Johnny Sauter in one corner. Dillon now riding third behind this duo. Ryan Blaney, Matt Crafton going at it. 29 working the low side for the top spot.
They're going crazy.
You would think we have less than 10 laps to go in this race.
Every position in the top 5 changed hands the last couple of laps. These guys are serious about this. You talked about how much you're trying to fill your truck out. It doesn't appear they're filling anything out. They're just going for it.
But all this racing at the front has invited the 51 inside the top 5, and he's looking for more as he closes in on his teammate Bubba Wallace and the 20 of Austin Dillon.
He was coming, invited or not, Adam.
I hate to.
He was crashing the party here. He was crashing that party.
But we got to step aside more after the break on Fox Sports 2.
They're going to have to find their groove on every track. This is like no other playoff in racing.
12 will advance after this round.
4 will be eliminated. Everybody's on edge. It's going to be epic. The only easy thing here is losing. Rusty, what do you make of all this?
Oh, man, this is going to get interesting.
Nations rise and nations fall. Some will fall harder than others.
When we left you, the racing was outstanding. We return, and they are still getting with it inside the top 5. Kyle Busch has worked his way to second. Unofficially, the 51 truck has passed 51 trucks tonight, and when he makes it 52, he will be on point.
Who says you can't pass on the mile and a half?
Yeah, there he goes. Kyle Busch, 52 laps in, the race leader as he goes outside of his teammate Bubba Wallace.
How are we going to manage to get him to go to the back again?
The numbers are mind-boggling. 51 has passed 52 trucks by lap 52.
So the top 5, Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, Austin Dillon, Ryan Blaney, Matt Crafton, and Johnny Sauter, who led early in this race, has led 24 laps tonight, has drifted back to the 6th position, started on pole and came in with a championship lead, and he's really lost touch with the top 5.
I didn't see that coming. His truck has been so solid all throughout the start of the race, and it seemed like when they started battling in the top 5 for the lead, Johnny lost contact. Kyle was going in one direction and Johnny was going the other.
Remember, this is how they finished at Kentucky. Another rough, abrasive mile and a half back in June. Kyle Busch with a win. His teammate Bubba Wallace second.
We had some serious racing just a bit ago. Watch this coming off turn 4. Matt Crafton rides up the hill and Bubba Wallace into the side of Ryan Blaney. That could be really tough, Phil. You bend that right front fender and you're going to lose some downforce up there. Oh, by the way, those are maybe the best of buddies in the garage area. You don't think these truckers forget about all that stuff when they go racing? You got to get every spot you can get.
And not only that, both very much alive when it comes to the championship chase. Talking about Darrell Wallace Jr. and Ryan Blaney, who's driving that 29 truck.
Especially with Johnny Sauter. Now, we talk about Johnny Sauter having some problems, but right now he's all the way back to the 6th spot, Hermie.
Feel they went too far on their adjustments. Johnny Sauter was tight, as we mentioned, off turn 2 when he lost the lead. They came down pit road, put 4 tires on, made a track bar adjustment. Now the truck is too free, especially through the center in the exit of the corner. He cannot keep the throttle down. He needs to get back down pit road, make some adjustments to get back towards the front, Ray.
Kyle Busch has been talking to his spotter, said get a real good look at the front of my truck. Water temperature is starting to climb. We need to find out if there's any debris there. He may let Bubba Wallace go by to try to pull up tight. So far they haven't been able to see any debris on the front, but he said the water temperature is going up.
You see anything there, Phil? I didn't.
I don't think so. I saw something on the right side of the green, but I don't know if that's just tape where normally they will put some tear-offs, like 2 or 3 different tear-offs. If he sees a little water temperature, then they peel one piece off, then another piece. I believe that orange tape on the right side of that grill is not supposed to be there. So part of that grill is blocked off a little bit.
Whoa, look at that.
Working around the lap machine of Norm Benning.
Norm said, make up your mind. There's plenty of room on both sides. Why couldn't y'all both go to one side or the other?
And again, this may be planned. Kyle Busch may let Bubba Wallace get in front of him, then try to pull up right on his tailgate and see if he can clean off that lower grill.
He hadn't had any problems pulling up on people yet. I guess that's probably going to happen.
So Bubba Wallace, the new race leader. We're 58 laps into the Lucas Oil 225.
Do you belong in this circle? Under the 1,800-watt glow of stadium lights? Can you withstand the pressure and go nose to nose with a Sprint Cup driver and keep your wits about you at every turn? Round and round you go, and when you'll rise, nobody knows.
Gorgeous night in Joliet, Illinois. 45 miles southwest of Chicago. Chicagoland Speedway tonight playing host to the Lucas Oil 225. Hard to believe how ugly it was here yesterday evening, forcing this race to tonight.
What a beautiful scene that is. Great work by our camera folks, not only capturing the action on the racetrack, but setting the scene here at beautiful Chicagoland Speedway. You know what you need right over there by that Sprint Cup sign and that sun setting? A beautiful Ferris wheel spinning. And perhaps some bumper cars and maybe a tilt-a-whirl.
Work on that, would you?
Putt-putt.
Ben
Possibly,
Kennedy is fourth right now, Ray.
I'll tell you what, Adam, he started 17th tonight, but on that round of pit stops, they made a gutsy call, went with right side tires only. He came in running 13th and went out 4th. Got to love his sponsor, too, heater.com. And I know you guys are comfortable up top, but we're going to need some heaters down here shortly. Hermie?
Well, Ray, the 54 of Bubba Wallace hit his pit stall. They had 4 tires up on the wall ready to put him on this truck. A late audible by Jerry Baxter, his crew chief. Fuel only got him back out with track position. Now, he does not have new tires on the truck, but he does have an additional set of tires in the pits. We'll see how the strategy plays out.
So fuel only for Wallace. Joe Nemechek restarts second. He got 2 tires. Kyle Busch is third. He got 4. And Ray talked about Ben Kennedy, a 2-tire stop with new crew chief Doug George. Green flag back in the air, lap 66.
See Kyle Busch going to push his teammate by Joe Nemechek. Now he's going to jump to the outside and use those 4 tires.
Power move outside for Kyle Busch, trying to grab the race lead off of 2, and I think he's going to get it, driving around his teammate.
He's going to bring Ryan Blaney, that blue truck, with him, number 29. There's Johnny Sauter. Johnny Sauter, Michael, up to the 4th spot here.
Well, we know he came off pit road a little bit loose, and then that truck went really tight. Heard him talking to the team about how many problems he's having finding the balance to that 98 truck. We know he's fast, but can it hold on this run? He's been fading back as they get some laps on the tires.
Look at losing a spot to his teammate right now, Matt Crafton. Matt Crafton, the yellow 88, moves to the outside, takes over that 4th spot.
And they're 3 wide behind him. Austin Dillon squeezing in 4th position.
And that was Timothy Peters to the bottom of the racetrack. We haven't mentioned Timothy's name, but he's inside the top 10 now and looking for another spot. So maybe he's going to get that season turned around here at Chicagoland. Another strong finish would help him tremendously.
How about Matt Crafton now taking over the 3rd spot from Ryan Blaney. Matt Crafton really has some good short run speed here in that 88 truck.
He's going to get to the outside of Bubba Wallace too.
5 career wins for Matt Crafton, 3 of those coming at 1.5 mile tracks. Charlotte to start his career, won Kansas a year ago, and earlier this season at the Texas Motor Speedway.
Stretch his fuel mileage at Texas. We didn't really think he could make it all the way, and he was able to do that. Good racing here back in the pack. Watch this now, right side of your screen. Tyler Reddick, the 19 on the outside. Caroga, the 77 in the middle. And here comes Joey Coulter, the 21 on the inside.
Well, and Michael, you mentioned how good Timothy Peters is tonight inside the top 10. Armand Caroga in the 77 with moves like this. He's back in the top 10 as well. That is what I call driving your truck hard.
I like this young man here. He's very passionate about racing in NASCAR. He's having fun.
You're doing fine.
That was crazy. And
you're doing fine. Keep on doing it.
That's Timothy Peters. We talked about Timothy having a good run, and Armand's closing in on Peters.
Yeah, the teammates have not had the year they would have liked, but reason for optimism here tonight. And of course, Armand Caroga trying to ride the momentum coming from Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, where he matched his career best finish.
And look at him go around Peters.
Dig on. Don't even look at that water gauge. As long as it don't push any water, we don't care.
See some debris on the grill of that 77 truck as well. We heard him talk about don't even worry about the water temperature gauge. We watched Kyle Busch come down pit road, clean off his grill. That orange stuff on the right side of his grill was some extra tape. They cleaned it off to see all the debris on Herman Caroga's grill right now.
I believe I would give him the advice of go catch that 8 truck of Joe Nemechek, and when you get there, run behind him, get directly behind him for a lap or so, and see if we can get some of that debris off there. It's easier said than done to not worry about a water temperature gauge that's going places where it doesn't belong. So strong run for Nemechek. First lap on the racetrack, broke a motor, changed that engine, and now he finds himself solidly in the top 10 with some great pit strategy, getting some track position.
You know, guys, we see how little air they take into these trucks here, and when you eliminate that or reduce that by 20 or 30%, that makes such a huge difference.
Ryan Blaney, 4th position right now. What are they saying, Ray?
Well, they're talking about a pretty serious vibration in that number 29 Cooper Standard Ford, and Ryan said, guys, you got to check and see if we got all the lug nuts. So they rewound the tape of the pit stop, and they said they believe they got all 20 lug nuts tight. So they said maybe we threw a wheel weight off of one of the tires, and right now Ryan Blaney is going to lose a spot on the racetrack to the number 20 of Austin Dillon.
Well, you know, the last time, Ray, we went to an intermediate track is kind of where it started to go south for Ryan Blaney at Michigan. Came in with a championship lead, had problems there. More followed the next week at Bristol. They bounced back, obviously, getting that big win north of the border, but you can't afford to have issues as tight as this championship battle is.
Look at that move to the outside by Bubba Wallace. He makes his way around Crafton. We've seen this so far in the race. Crafton strong on the shorter run, falls back on the long run. Bubba Wallace takes advantage of a slipping number 88 truck to drive around and grab that second spot.
Well, and he's staying up in the runner-up position despite the fact under that last cycle of pit stops 12 laps ago, he got no tires. Kyle Busch, the race leader. It's Wallace, Dillon, Blaney, and Crafton, the top 5 with 75 laps complete. $80 laps complete. We're past halfway in the Lucas Oil 225 from Chicagoland Speedway for the Camping World Truck Series. Kyle Busch, the man out front. He's led now 21 laps tonight. Right behind him on track is Austin Dillon. He got around Darrell Wallace Jr. while we were away. Wallace is 3rd. Ryan Blaney is 4th. Matt Crafton is 5th. And we were singing the praises of Timothy Peters, who was running solidly inside the top 10. Drifted outside the top 10, realized he had a problem, and they had to make an unscheduled pit stop.
Yeah, here he is coming around the racetrack here. You see him, he's going to dip down to the apron of the racetrack.
What about it, Ray?
Well, they found out that they had loose lug nuts on the left rear tire. So they came down here on lap 78 to put 4 fresh tires on, cleaned the grill off, and Peters went back to the racetrack. But you can see that is definitely oblong there in the center of the holes where the studs come through. Hermie?
Well, Ray, this is the right front tire that came off the 20 truck of Austin Dillon. You can see a big blister mark inside of this tire. Now, his truck was tight, which means he was putting too much pressure on the right front tire. Bubba Wallace is on the racetrack. He got no tires last time on the racetrack, but his truck probably balanced a little bit better. But you got to have a little bit of concern as a crew chief to see this right front tire come off a truck at this racetrack.
You know, we hadn't heard a word about any tire issues, so that's interesting. Hermie, great call, because we don't think of tires as giving up. So Bubba Wallace comes to pit road. His crew chief, Jerry Baxter, says no tires, and Bubba's running 3rd. So obviously it's a very, very good Goodyear tire and a durable Goodyear tire. So that's you're right. That raises a lot of concern down there on pit road.
But Austin Dillon's got a great truck. On that last cycle of stops, he came down the pit lane in 3rd. Restarted 12th, and here he is back up to 2nd. So he has proven he's got speed. He just now needs some scenarios to fall his way to have a chance to grab the top spot.
And just to follow up a bit on that Timothy Peters story, as loose as that left rear wheel was, Phil, you said you could see it on the racetrack moving back and forth. As loose as that was, it could have messed up those studs on that left rear wheel where the nuts won't tighten up the wheel. So he could be back to pit road with that problem again if there was some damage done there.
Right now he is the lead truck, not on the lead lap. We have 20 trucks on the lead lap here for the next few moments, and he is 2 laps down right behind our leader. There's Ryan Blaney right now. We heard him talk about a vibration. Ray Dunlap was telling me that Ryan Blaney was talking about a vibration. Let's listen into his radio here just a few moments ago.
I got a small vibration here. We'll keep track of it. 10-4 and a small vibration. 1 back of the 98. We get the wheels tight. The room out back. We're going to check here. 5 back to the 20. Saying all good, buddy. They're saying all good.